Hello and welcome to Musings and Monologues, our platform for daily banter on issues and ideas that affect and impact us. About 2 weeks ago, I had spoken to you on the day of Irfan Khan's demise about Irfan Khan's career as an actor in Hindi films and in Hollywood, and also my personal association with him as an actor with a director. I had spoken at length about his last release, Angrezi Medium, in which his sensitivity and the honestness of his performance is something which I had spoken at length about. But I chanced upon two uncut gems from his repertoire, the last two films before Angrezi Medium, which released in 2019 and early 2020, Nishikant Kamat's Madari and Akarsh Khurana's Karwaan. In both the films, Irfan plays two distinctly different characters, and it is this repertoire that amazes us. Nishikant's script is very ably written and is a taut commercial Hindi film venture in its true positive sense of the term commercial. It has the packaging of a ready entertainer, yet maintains its subtext, which is alive mainly because of Irfan Khan's performance. Irfan Khan is the only star in the film, remember, and hence he has the ability and he grasps it and he actually masters it with such finesse that it is very difficult for us to hold our tears. I could not hold my tear in the end of the film. The film begins with a very difficult premise. He plays the role of an abductor, a usually villainous figure in such circumstances, and his interaction with the person or the child he has abducted, the kidnapper and the kidnapped. As the kidnapper, you see certain rough edges to him in the beginning, never overplayed nor underplayed. It is just there in the right measure that he actually actuates the character with believability. That is the most important thing in any actor's performance, believability. That he measures as he goes along as the story unfolds and reveals the life and the issues with which the protagonist over here, Irfan Khan, is actually dabbling with and dealing with and confronting his own personal demons and his moments of sorrow at having lost his own child. He never allows that to become absolute deplete with excesses of effete sentimentality. He never makes you stupidly sentimental. He only intelligently makes you that. That's where he is distinguished in his performance. His interactions with this boy are unique and understated. It is never, he never expresses extra love or passion for the child. Everything is conveyed like Irfan always does, with his two eyes and his quivering lips. He makes very curt conversation. There are one, two words, or maximum a sentence with which he conveys the inner feelings that fraught the delineation of the character, and gradually he starts revealing himself like an onion. As each layer is taken off, the inner core emerges. The inner core of the character, the person who was so common, so ordinary, and so completely satisfied with life that had been provided to him by the realms above, that he remained focused on that life itself, never wanting to question the system or the larger issues that govern him post his son's death. That is what I'm not giving you a spoiler because it is very apparent in the film that his son dies in the film, and that giveaway will not take away any pleasure of enjoying the film. It is Irfan's absolute surrender to his own son, which gets gradually reflected in his surrender to the person he has kidnapped, abducted, and his wrath against the powers that be, because he is now because of his personal tragedy, more attuned and more observant of the inequalities of the system, of the role power politics plays in the scheme of lives of ordinary citizens. The position of supremacy of power so effectively accentuated by the finesse of Nishikant Kamath that it rings true, and Irfan's opposition to such powers. So it is not merely a battle where he's shot dead, as it is revealed in one of the alternative endings of the film, so beautifully written and directed by Nishikant Kamath. And the alternate to that reality, where it is gradually unfolded that the system has to finally bow down to the diktats of this individual because he is in a moral victory over them. It is this moral victory that Irfan states so lucidly that it makes it worthwhile to watch this film even once more. I will surely watch it once more. I hope you do it too. The second film, Karwaan by Akarsh Kurana, a newbie, is a gentle look at the foibles of life under against the ostensible garb of immediacy of tragedy. But that tragedy does not affect the protagonists in our story so much because the protagonist, a boy who has had a very tension fraught relationship with his father, the arrival of his father's coffin, and the misplaced coffin, where the coffins are exchanged, and he has the coffins of the mother of the female lead of the film, who eventually turns out to be the female lead of the film, and his friend who decides to card this unknown body to exchange it for the father's body in a very distant land. He has to traverse 2 kilometers from Bangalore to reach Kochi, where the body is kept. And it is in this journey that Irfan's character emerges as the understated, absolutely funny and sweet and gentle, this Khan Avatar, this man who is a Muslim in a Hindu context, and the winnability of that character with his finesse, with his one liners, with the sharpness of intellect, the absolute directness of the eyes, the hopeless surrender of that person to the absolute charm of an innocent woman caught in a loveless marriage. How he woos her is one of the most memorable sequences of the film, where he gives on and leads her with these couplets, these shairis, with which he seems he can conquer her heart, only to realize that the person who's lying on the bed is not her father, but her husband. Years her senior, yet her husband, and how he wins over this woman over to his own side forms one of the climactic situations of the film. But it is in the earlier passages as the friend of the protagonist. Here, the protagonist is ably played by the lead Salman, and he seems to envelop and overshadow the protagonist with his glimmering presence, with his shimmer, with its absolute lack of glamour, and yet more glamorous than the ordinary. He comes out as an eccentric, oddball figure, which Irfan always specializes in, playing the oddball, eccentric figure. And it is with this ample element of comedy that he infuses in the character, which is beyond the text. Again, as usual with Irfan, he somehow transcends the script, the dialogues of the script, into creating another entity, another persona that is completely wholesome and different and differentiated from the mainstream heroes. Again, in this film, he is the biggest star, and so he has the ability to control and command the entire dynamics of the frame. The dynamics which are created so ably by Akarsh Kurana in his first attempt at direction. One should absolutely salute that boy for his ability to have produced such a wonderful first feature film. But it is Irfan Khan's performance which actually enables his first feature film to transcend from the ordinary to the genre above that. This is also a commercial venture, yet it has its own collection of songs and soundtracks and set in a complete commercial mold, but it is the performances that actually elevate the film. And here again, Irfan Khan's singular effort, singular aim to push everyone into that higher attuned sensibility which makes the film work. What do you think about these two performances? Please share your comments and do post your observations to us. We shall be enlightened by your vision about the same. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.